Hi there. This 10-minute LYT Yoga reset flow is intended to particularly help open up the chest, restore a little bit of balance if we've been feeling rounded in the upper back, and really just overall kind of spark you up and help to prevent yourself from finding that you're too rounded over at the end of the day by starting off the day or hitting a little break in the middle of the day to do these chest opening moves. Now, it will be really nice to have at least one yoga block with you for some of the things we're doing today. We're actually going to start off laying on our back. You're going to want to bring your yoga block onto the ground. I have it set up on the shortest height, the widest setting. I'm going to be bringing my shoulders down onto it. So you just want to come down first. I like to come onto my forearms, find that space there. Take the hands behind the head. As we interlace the fingers, we'll just kind of work our shoulders back onto this block. So at first it can feel really nice. Just keep those elbows in nice and close. Let yourself just kind of lean back into this block. If it feels good from there, you might even open up the elbows a little bit wider. But if this starts to agitate the arms at all, or it doesn't feel comfortable with the arm bone in that shoulder socket, feel free to bring those elbows right back in. We're just going to start off taking a few breaths. So as you inhale, fill up the whole of the chest. With the exhale, let it draw down in the center and support you rooting that tailbone down to the heels. We'll take another full inhale here. And exhaling, letting yourself breathe fully, maybe root that tailbone towards the heels and really let that core draw in to support the back. Another big inhale here. So we allow the neck to relax, the chest to open up a little bit here. Another full inhale. Got one more. And you are welcome to do this for longer, but just for the sake of the time in this video, I'll walk you through coming off. So feel free to stay here for longer. You can always pause the recording. But when you're ready, pull your elbows in, just nice and close, and just allow yourself to roll over to one side. Might be a little awkward feeling, but just kind of the easiest way to get up off that block. Really nice there. So then from here, we'll go ahead and we'll press into the feet. We're going to slide the block underneath the sacrum and continue our chest opening here. So you're going to have the block under your sacrum. I like the lowest height and the widest setting again, just like how we had it for the shoulders. And what you can do here is either reach your arms out like a capital T, so that arm can be totally long, or you can do like I'm doing here and goalpost the arms. So we have the hips in a little bit of extension. We have that sacrum on the block. And even though we have the block underneath of us, we're not just hanging out like we're on a park bench. So I'll show you real quick what this looks like if I'm not engaged at all. My pelvis is dipping forward, my core is unengaged, my tailbone's pointing down. So we want to feel just a little engagement around that core. Take a big breath into the chest again. And as you exhale, draw that front line of the body into the back line of the body. Feeling everything lift from the center and support. Another full inhale here. And with the exhale, draw together and down. Take one more inhale. We'll stretch out the wrists a little bit. So it's a good idea here. So we'll go from either that, capital T position with the arms or goal post. And we'll take those hands up towards the ceiling. You might even get a little bit more reach of the arm up and overhead, but do try to keep your low ribs really strong, really firm and connected in. Take two more breaths here. Continue to breathe into the whole torso when you exhale to that front line of the body, pull into the back line of the body. Let's get another breath like that. And full exhale out. Or release your left wrist and circle it a few times. And then we'll switch hands. We'll take our right hand up towards the ceiling and stretch it back. So again, pulling back on those 4 fingers. You could go a little bit more overhead. Just don't let that totally pop the ribs out. You still want to keep a little sense of engaging them. Another inhale here. And exhale. The block under the sacrum, it's like a little coach here, helping you stay in line, giving you a little assistance with opening up the front of these hip flexors. But at the same time, we're not just hanging out on it like it's some kind of park bench or something. There's a time and a place for the park bench, right? Big inhale. And exhale. You'll release your right wrist, circle it a few times. Take it the other way. Bring your arms down by your side, press into your feet enough that you can lift your sacrum off the block and slide it out from under you. And you're just going to lower yourself down, just like one vertebrae at a time until we bring that sacrum all the way down onto the ground. Now, from here, we're going to do a little bit of core work just by coming up onto the forearms. Now you want to walk your elbows underneath your shoulders. Your feet are still walked in, and you're going to grab the sides of your mat real quick and feel like you could pull it apart with those hands. Obviously, you're not really going to pull your mat apart, but you're feeling your shoulder blades hug onto your back ribs and really connect down strong. Now, slowly here, let's extend the left leg and then bring it on down. Extend the right leg and bring it on down. So it's like a little beach kick here, and we're keeping the core on. So as you inhale, really fill up your whole torso. Exhale, feel the front line of the body, pull into the back line of the body. It's like your low ribs are pulling in, like you're putting a corset on around your torso. Continue to feel like you could pull the mat apart, shoulder blades really on the back ribs. Another big inhale. And exhale. You're going to feel that active connection of the core. We're inhaling, expanding in the ribs, really letting it expand here. And as you exhale again, drawing it down, in, and back together. So you can keep the legs straight, but then we can start to alternate kick them. Switching one leg and then the other. Throat stays pulled in, reaching through the top of the head, keep pulling those shoulder blades back, and continue to breathe here. So it's this inhale, the exhale. It's a little core work. It's very active. You want to keep breathing. Dynamic work for the core, helping up these hip flexors. And if we wake up the psoas, which is what this move is doing here, then it'll really help us stay more upright. And notice if your neck is really working a lot to hold you up, you kind of want to lift your throat into the back of the neck, keep the head long. And let's just take another 5, keep pulling the shoulder blades back, 4, keep breathing, 3, 2, and 1. Both feet on, down. Know that you can always stick with just one leg kicking forward at a time. And then we'll bring ourselves around onto hands and knees. So kind of continue us with our activation. Palms under the shoulders, left hand under the left shoulder, right hand under the right shoulder, knees underneath the hips. Take your right hand behind your skull, and that'll give you a little check. Just make sure your right hand's in line with your shoulders. Opening up the book here, pressing your left hand, rotate the ribs open to the right, and then close that right back off. So you want your chest to become parallel with the floor again, but your elbow doesn't drop down. It stays lifted out to the side. So we press the left hand, rotate open to the right, and then you realign chest with the floor. Press in that left hand, rotate the ribs, open to the right, and then we bring that chest back in line with the floor. Left hand presses, left shoulder blade squeezes, we bring that chest back in line. 2 more like that. We'll press, rotation, bring it back down, and 1 more, press, rotate, and restore that chest back in line. So we're gonna switch sides. I'll give you a slightly different angle here from the front. Right hand down, left hand behind the skull. Press into your right hand, and as you rotate open to the left, you just keep that elbow in line with the shoulder, return that chest back in line with the floor, rotate open. So rotating around the ribs, keeping those knees underneath the hips as that right hand presses, your right shoulder blade really hugs onto the back ribs. This move will do an awful lot to help us stay open in the chest, long, strong, and lifted. 1 more time, press that right hand, rotate open, and then close it off. Let's get ourselves moving a little bit. It'll just be a quick little sun salutation flow for the chest, and then we'll finish it off with a supine twist. So from quadruped now, tuck your toes, push into your hands, and start to spread your shoulder blades. Let that hover your knees off the ground, and then begin to hoist your pelvis up towards the ceiling. So as that sacrum goes up, we stay long in the spine. Feel the weight is equal between your hands and your feet. So with your hands down on the ground and your feet on the ground, you want to feel that they're both equally holding your body up here. We're not just collapsing it all back into the legs. We're not keeping all the pressure in our wrists or in our hands. Feel free to bend the knees a little bit. Feel like you're siphoning your leg bones up into your hip sockets. Spine stays long here. It may even be a really good idea, if you have them, to now bring your hands on top of the blocks. So as we step our left foot forward, we don't have to pick those hands up, but we can bring the right knee down. Inhale, arms reach forward and up, long and tall with the spine. Hands come down. Let's step back to plank. So the left foot goes back to meet the right. then lower both your knees to the ground and lower all the way to the ground. Try and keep the head of the arm bones lifted. With an inhale, pull back with your hands, root your tailbone. Push your palms up through plank. Feel free to still use the knees for that. And then down dog, feel like you're folding yourself in half, using the strength of the abdominals to lift you up. We'll step our right foot forward, left knee comes down, 90-90 low lunge. Inhale, arms reach forward and up. Feel that length on the left side. Hands come down. You could bring them onto blocks, but let's step all the way to the top of the mat. Left foot meets the right. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Inhale, arms reach forward and up. Now, one more time the whole way through. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Hands can come down to blocks. Left foot steps back to meet the back of the mat. Left knee comes down. Inhale, arms reach forward and up. So we're just here. Let's goalpost those arms. Bring them down in line with the shoulders. Feel that strength. This goalpost position. Going to really get the chest opening. One more big breath here. Hands come down. Step back to plank. Lift your left knee. Right foot steps back, meets that left. Lower the knees together. Lower all the way to the ground. Head of the arm bones stay lifted. Inhale, pull back your hands in cobra. Push near hands up through plank. Downward facing dog. Think of folding yourself in half. Use the strength of the abdominals. From here, step your left foot forward. Remember, your hands can be on blocks. Right knee comes down. Just don't want to pick my palms up. Goalpost the arms, 90-90 low lunge. Take one full breath here, inhale. Exhale, pull the front line and the back line, squeeze those shoulder blades together. And then this time, hands come down. Slide your left leg back to meet your right and come all the way down onto your back. So again, more so than like a full-on reset or a full-on class, this is just a little routine to help us with our thoracic spine, get a little mobility, a little more length. So you're gonna bring your legs in nice and close to your torso. It can also be really nice to have a block for this one. So I'll show you what to do with the block. So we're gonna drop our legs together over to the right and reach your right arm out in front of you. You can take your right leg, slide it out from under you, and just bring your block on the highest setting underneath that inner part of the left knee. Release your right ear to your right shoulder and backstroke. So we'll go about 5 times here, just taking that left arm forward, back, down, and around, and then completing that circle. You can trace your fingers along the floor just like this. You're always welcome to have your fingers off the floor or even goalpost your arm. So I can bend my elbow as I circle it around, make the lever of this arm a little bit less heavy. And just one more time circling it. Of course, feel free to go with more of these if you'd like. Then the last time, we'll just take our left arm as we circle it around, we'll hold it open for about 2 breaths here. So again, you can goalpost, you can reach your left arm all the way out, or you can even just rest it on top of the left side of your chest here. So as we come back through center, we'll pull our knees in close. Again, they can both drop off to the left. Option here is to scoot your left leg out, maybe just stack your right knee on top, and that right arm comes on top of that left that's outstretched in front of you. You backstroke it. So it's a nice big circle. You can see my hand here, unless it's just disappearing in the camera. As it's tracing on the floor, I could modify by lifting it off the ground, letting it hover off the ground. And I'll show you I can modify by bending my elbow. So making my arm a little less heavy, making it more of a goalpost position. One more full circle. So complete that circle all the way around. And then the next time the right arm comes on top of the left, begin the circle, but you can just pause as you open it up and let the arm just rest where it is. We're keeping the low back long, just like everything else we did today. We're rotating around the ribs. Again, hand on top of the chest is also a really lovely option, especially if you ever feel really restricted in the sideline of your body. Another big breath in here. And exhale. So then from here, you'll unwind, bring yourself back through center. And then it might even be a good idea to pull the legs in and just to either drop your feet on the floor with the knees still bent, or if you're able to lay the legs down long without feeling like you've really dumped into the low back, let yourself just have about 3 breaths here. Laying on the floor with a little bit more space in the front line of the body and around that chest. A little more mobility around the whole thoracic spine. Let's take one more full inhale, full exhale. You can reach the arms up and overhead. Point the toes. Pull the legs back in towards your torso. Rock over to any side that just kind of calls to you, and then use whichever arms on top to make your way up. So I hope that these couple of minutes are enough to help you feel a little more open in the chest, find a little bit more balance, and just find some strategies so that we don't find ourselves tight around the neck, just rounding forward all the time, but that we're really bringing some balance to that. So I bring my hands together, thanking you for your practice, your time, your dedication, and I bow to that space in you which you are practicing from and saying namaste.